girl JQ here.
Hi, it's Dali Con Pique. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Make sure if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and follow us on Instagram at Are We Adulting Yet Podcast. We love you for it.
Yes. Comment, like, subscribe, do all that cool stuff for us, please.
Yes, please. Today, our topic of the day is about toxic relationships. Woo.
We all know y'all have all been in some toxic relationships. Don't act like you haven't.
Let's not act like everyone's perfect in a relationship, because I'm sure some people have been the toxic person in the relationship.
Yes, we're going to talk about all that shit because we've been there. I know I've been there. I know now coming in, well, getting out of that, I know I was the toxic. I was part of the toxicity.
That makes sense. I think it's important because if you've been in a lot of toxic relationships, you don't know what a healthy one looks like. Mm-hmm. And you don't know how to be that healthy one in a relationship either, because you've been in so much toxic energy, you know. So,
and that can be from since you were little. Your parents could have had a toxic relationship, and then you grew up having a toxic personality or having all these problems that you don't know how to have a healthy relationship. And it's just a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle that we need to learn how to break.
It's important to know. I think it's I can't talk. It's a subject that needs to be talked about because a lot of people don't talk about it. And, it's cool to get in a relationship, whatever. But if it's not right and it's not good, with good intention, then.
Or when you get in a relationship, when you feel like you still need to, like, heal the relationship you have with yourself. I don't know, like.
It gets real.
Yeah. I feel like if you're not healed, that was my ignorant ass. I thought I was healed. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be in a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have no problems. And then coming to this relationship, I'm like,
damn.
Right. You got some problems, but shit, I got some problems too. That you're making me realize that I have to heal from. And like, the number one relationship that should be healthy is the relationship that you have with yourself.
Yes. Hands
down, point blank.
Number one.
Because that you're the person that you're going to be spending the most time with. When you die, you're going to die alone. You came in here alone. You need to have the healthiest relationship with yourself. No one knows you like you know yourself.
It's hard to be able to tell someone about what type of relationship you want and what you need from a relationship if you can't even figure out what you need for yourself and what is needed for your mind, body, and soul, so.
And that's important coming into adulthood. Right now, we're like peak adult, I feel like. It's getting real for us.
At this point, a lot of people are getting engaged. A lot of people are getting married, People have that concept of you having to be married by a certain age,
Have your shit together.
Right. If you're 35 and you're not married, that's like, woo, for some. I mean, that's how they always made it seem to me. If you're not married by a certain time, you don't have kids by a certain time.
They make you feel like you ugly.
Right.
Like, you don't have a boyfriend? You're not engaged? You're never going to have babies.
Right.
Mom,
that too.
Never have grandchildren.
Mom, be patient, please.
But it's important. I mean, even when you think growing up, the relationship that you're trying to get comfortable with the relationship that you have with your parents, the relationship you have with your brothers and sisters, you don't ever take time to think about the relationship you have with yourself.
That's never really something, well, I think in most households, that's just not something that's taught.
Exactly.
You worry about other things aside from that, know? And then as a parent, it's different too, because you're so worried about everything, everything else, bills, whatever it may be, the chaos of life. And then you have your child that you're trying to, teach to have good morals or whatever the case is. And stuff like that doesn't really come up all the time,
Yeah.
And it should be a part of everyday life.
To learn how to love yourself.
For sure.
Because I remember growing up, I was always, it was always like said to me like, oh, make daddy proud, like make mommy proud.
Right.
Oh.
Doing what they thought was right for us.
And putting everybody's opinions and everybody's feelings ahead of mine without even realizing it.
Right.
I was too young to realize it, but you start to grow up and you start to realize these things like, dang.
And that's definitely a toxic trait in yourself.
Right.
To always be concerned about what other people think.
Right. Or like, when was the last time I put myself first?
Right.
If you don't recall that memory, yeah, it's time to pay yourself first, bitch, because it's been a while.
It's a problem.
And that's what, coming into adulthood, I think it's important to realize.
It's very important. Now I'm going to get into the task of the week. The task of this week is to focus on becoming more aware of what triggers you have when it comes to relationships, and to set boundaries for yourself when it comes to those relationships.
Yes. So pretty much, if we had a word of the week, it would be boundaries. Boundaries within yourself.
Boundaries are good. We've had this convo before too.
Boundaries are your friend.
Yes.
Take them with you wherever you go. Because without boundaries, you're just living a crazy, hectic, chaotic life. And we don't want that.
You need some boundaries in your life. You need to know when...
Right. You need to know when to stop eating the donut.
Right.
You need to know when it's time to drink some water. Boundaries. You need to know when you've had one too many margaritas. Boundaries.
100% true.
So yeah. Do you want to... I mean, I can go into my sticky situation. We can go into sticky situations, and I can talk about my
Yeah, you can talk about your sticky... Go ahead.
Because my past relationship was a whole damn nest of a stick. What? The nest of a sticky situation. And it was literally the definition of a toxic relationship. And it wasn't a relationship where I was getting beat. It wasn't like clear signs.
Right.
That I was in a toxic relationship. I wasn't getting beat. I wasn't, hiding from him. I didn't feel, I felt myself around him, which is probably the most important thing to realize. Like, I think when we were looking up signs that you're in a toxic relationship and it said that you don't feel yourself.
Right.
The thing is, I felt myself. I felt like I was being myself around this person. I was completely comfortable with myself.
Right.
Completely comfortable in that relationship. And that's what made me stay for so long.
And I think that they have, we also read something about how even though the abuse may not be physical and, noticeable on the outside, it doesn't have the normal, like the major issues that really bad relationships that have gone public and stuff have. What is my point? Lord Jesus. Even though the signs weren't there, like crazy relationships, sometimes when you're in love with someone, you become in denial with what's going on. Because I'm not getting beat, and you might be getting talked down on whether they're angry or something, but that's abuse too, But,
right. And you just start to overlook the signs. Right. Like the common signs, like, all right, this isn't healthy. You just start to overlook it, and you start to give it excuses like, oh, well, he had a bad childhood. Oh, well, his mom, oh, well, when the point of the matter is, at the end of the day, he just ain't shit. Like
a guy, I feel like guy or woman, they can come up with excuses as why they're the way they are and this and this and that, and they want you to be compassionate and understanding and everything, and you can be understanding, but you can only be so much understanding, because especially if the reason they're doing what they're doing is affecting you in a negative way. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you can give me your childhood story, but one, you're grown now.
Right. You can give me the whole sob story. You can give me the whole, oh, well, my mom, oh, well, I never had anybody.
Or I was raised this way.
All right, the same way that you became conscious of the fact that you have a fucked up past is the same way that you can make a better future for yourself. And you can work on it. Like, I came from not a completely fucked up past, but, I have bad shit that happened to me. But do I take it with me wherever I go? Like, oh, well, you know what? I got pissed today because,
5 years ago
on this day, somebody stole my notebook. Right. And like, it's just stupid stuff. It's so
not
stupid.
Mad at life.
Right.
I'm going to take it out on you.
And that's not, and it stems back to take care of yourself first, because once you put love into yourself, you know what you're not going to take. You know what you deserve, what you're not going to,
tolerate.
Right, that's the word I'm looking for. Because back then, I was hearing all the excuses in the world. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that does suck. But now, you tell me that stuff, I'm going to be like, okay, well, I have nothing to do with that. Right. This is not my problem. The reason that you're yelling at me over some stupid, that's not a good excuse for you to be verbally abusive to me.
Right.
I don't understand what you're like.
Your point is right to hurt me. Is that right. It? All right.
I had a fucked up past, but you don't see me yelling in your face, calling you. Like I was. And the thing is, it was so toxic that I knew it was. Like, at a certain point, I was like, this is not normal, and I wouldn't tell anybody. I didn't want anyone telling me, oh, you gotta leave him. Oh, that's not right. That's not right. Because I already knew. Opinions, right? Yeah, I already knew it. I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to hear it. And so when I broke up with my ex, and when I started telling people little by little what was really going on, people were like, I would never have thought that was happening. Right. He did not seem like that kind of person. He did not, like, you didn't make it seem like you were even going through any of that. And the reality was, like, it was literally walking on eggshells. My whole relationship. Like, when is he going to snap? Oh my God, am I going to do something to piss him off? Oh my God, he drank too much. Like, is it gonna end up? Let me chill out.
I know I have to be with him. Yeah.
Right. He drank too much. Is it gonna end up in a big ass argument where I'm gonna have to like kick him out? Or one time I kicked him out of my car. That's toxic. In the middle of Hillsborough Avenue at night.
Did you chase him down too with a car?
No, I left. At that point, this was toward the end. I was like already like,
you know in the beginning where it's like bad, yeah, and you're just like, come in the car.
I did that too. Come back. Come in the car.
Come in the car, even though you're the one that kicked him out.
Yeah, girl, I could tell
making
you
no sense.
Stories. Ooh. Yeah, at this point, I was over it. I was like, get out my car. And girl, I kicked him out and went to the club. I got to the club. They're like, where's she at? I'm like, I don't know.
I'm done.
I don't know, but I need a vodka soda with lime. But in the beginning, you can calling me a slut, calling me this, and that, and my ass, get back in the car. Get back. Get your clothes. Come on.
And then you're thinking about later and you're like, Mira, look, I'm the slut. You want to get back in the car?
No, man. Thinking about it now, I'm like, I was dumb as hell. Like, there was no kind of self-love there for myself. Right. And that's sad.
But and then at the same time, though, when you're in a relationship like that, it's bad because you don't want to, you want to give each other that self-confidence and, that push to be better, and he wasn't giving you that. He was knocking you, and knocking you so you're at your lowest and you don't feel like shit.
And I feel like a lot of women fall into this idea of being a ride or die, and they're like, well, I'm going to stick through it. I'm going to stick through, and I'm going to be the person at the end of, like, no,
at the end of the day, to stay with this guy after 5 times that he cheated with me. He had a baby with another woman.
Hit me. He done
types of shit. Right. But I'm gonna be that ride or die.
And I'm a ride or die, and I'm not gonna give up that easily. You need to be a ride or die for yourself, boo. Like, you just gave up complete hope for yourself staying with this man.
And it's crazy because in some situations, women do die.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's people who have been beat and stay with these people, like, I don't want to say they're brainwashed, but they feel they're so in love with someone that they need him and they can't live without them, and they gotta live with them, this and that. Even they gotta live with their abuse, physical and not physical. But if they're very physical, it gets bad. You know what I'm saying? It can get worse. You're putting yourself on a path that doesn't get better.
Mm-hmm. It just keeps spiraling, getting worse and worse. And I'm telling you, the last straw I had with my ex, we were at a hotel in Orlando and some big shit happened, and he pushed me into the wall to get me out of the way, to get out of the hotel room. And I was like, you know what? Done.
Oh my God.
Done. Because it went from being super cool to then little by little, now we're here and you're pushing me into a wall. Not him. It's over.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, thank God I did that, because now I have an amazing boyfriend that even if he raises his voice at me, he feels bad. Mm-hmm. Something that I thought I would never even have. I thought that a healthy relationship was the bickering back and forth.
It's okay to argue as long as we're able to talk about it later.
Right. We all get worked up. It's okay. And then now I'm like, dang, we really don't have to argue to try to get our point across. Or if we have a disagreement, we really don't have to yell at each other.
We could just communicate and talk about it.
Right. And it's like a breath of fresh air. Even though
it's just a crazy episode, girl, because it just speaks volumes for me in certain ways. Just because, like my last relationship, it was horrible. It was so bad. And I remember I broke up with him because, he took some girl out to he took some girl to some fast food restaurant. And this was like during lunch break or something. And I was like, hold up. First off, you didn't tell me about it. Someone else we worked with told me about it. Disrespectful. 2, did you pay for her meal? Yes, disrespectful. Yep. 3, why are you taking some girl? Right. It's just like, no, this is not cool. Yeah. And he didn't see anything wrong with it. And I broke up with him. And I was working at a gas station at the time. So the next day he decides to come to the gas station. And he comes to the gas station with about 4 hickeys on his neck. And let me tell you, at that moment, I legit wanted to cry. But I was in front of so many people, I couldn't do that. But I was like shaken by that. And it was like, wow, I ain't shit to you.
Super disrespectful.
Super disrespectful. And that made me feel really low. That made me feel like, what am I not doing? And it's crazy that women do that. Mm-hmm. The first ones they go to are they blame themselves. Mm-hmm. What do I have that what don't I have that she has, or blah, 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 blah. And it could be some random person, some random hoe. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't even matter. The fact of the matter is he's disrespectful. He didn't care about you enough to figure it out or to not do that. Wasn't considerate. No, it just was not worth it. Mm-hmm. You know? So, like, I don't know. Some guys just don't know. And sometimes, I mean, I can say this with me and Jordan, I kind of had to teach him in ways we've been together for so long. Mm-hmm. It's been so many years. And from like where he was beforehand and where he is now is like, I feel like completely different. Mm-hmm. And you're like a somewhat first testament of that, because you met him when we first were like, first started dating before Jonah and stuff. Yeah. So like, he's changed a lot, but we went through our shit, you know, but I think that also comes with when you grow up with someone, when you're young like that, I feel like there is shit that's going to happen. Because, like, this was before we were even 20. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's crazy. But you do see toxic, like, there are times, even now, that I feel like I'm toxic in certain ways. Mm-hmm. And that was another thing that we were going to bring up about how making sure you're not the one who's toxic in the relationship, because you can go pointing fingers all day, but you could be the one that's that's a mess in the relationship, and the one that's causing pain or that's causing whatever, you know?
Yeah, and it could be that the other person is more toxic, but it doesn't mean that you don't have toxic traits as well. Right. Like, they're probably there.
There are some ways to know you're toxic. I remember having control issues and having your way no matter what. Not having respect for privacy. So, like, the phone looking through the phone, the constant being like, who you with? Who's that?
That was me. In the middle of the night.
Who's that? Looking through the phone. Is he asleep? Yep. I see his rhythm breathing. Yeah. He's asleep.
Yep. But, 9 times out of 10, I used to always look to that phone. I used to always find something that pissed me off.
Yeah. So that's how all it is. And then, like, some people will push it aside and be like, well, I'm not going to look through the phone because I know I'm not going to like what I see. What? Right. You should look at that phone and not find shit. That's my opinion of it.
You should feel bad looking through the phone because you're like, dang, he really ain't doing shit. Right. Like, I feel bad now.
Right. And then that leads to you being like, nah, I don't have to look through this phone. We've all been there. Yeah. I feel like I've been there too.
I'm a lurker. Why you? I'm fixing my tie. I haven't done that in a very long time.
Yeah. I don't think I have either.
Yeah, it's been a very long time that I picked up a phone and tried to look through it. But I have been the person that's, like, trying to, like, in my past relationship, I used to try to, like, put blame on him for something that, like, if he got mad at me about something, right. I used to be like, well, I did this because you're a piece of shit, right. And you did this, and you did that. And try to make him look like the bad guy. And that's bad communicating skills, like,
yeah, that's true.
It's bad communication.
All the way. Trying to force someone to be who they're not trying to be. That's another reason. That's another way of showing that you're toxic. Making sure that whatever you need is what matters. Emotional and physical abuse, of course. Talking down to someone, telling them they ain't shit. They're up in their hole. They're not going to be shit with their life. Yeah. You don't want to have your significant other feeling like they're walking on eggshells. Like, any moment, everything, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Everything can go downhill.
Like, they can't approach you about something. I think I still kind of have this problem today. Like, I feel like sometimes my boyfriend, feels like he can't come to me about something because he thinks I'm gonna blow up, and I be feeling so bad.
Right.
I'm like, I don't want you to feel.
It's hard to be like the bro who's like, "What's up, man? You know, like, give me your opinion, bro." You know, you try to be that girlfriend, but then you have the girl inside of you, and it's like, what? You know, you're like, what is that?
Right.
No, that's not right.
Right. You're better than this. Right?
But then their guy friend would say something maybe completely different.
Yeah.
And I think that's why,
the balance. People should have just how we need girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
It's always gonna be a difference than, like, my relationship with you is always gonna be different than Johnny's because,
yeah, of course,
the way that we speak to each other.
Right.
But
I feel like the same thing with you. There's gonna be stuff I want to tell you that you'd probably want to listen to, that Jordan's like, why the hell are you telling me this?
Right.
Bochinche for? Right. You know what I'm saying? This gossip. I don't want to hear this gossip. Like, shit like that, like, there's just some stuff you need to have your own friends. Your own people to talk to about certain things in your life.
Yeah. Know? I think that's very important, too. I think another, which they didn't mention, but it didn't mention when we were, like, looking it up, but another sign to tell that you're in a toxic relationship personally is when you start avoiding going out with friends, or you start, like, avoiding all that, because
making them your life 100%.
Yeah.
Not doing everything with them, not doing anything without them, like, that's just too much. You need your space. You need your time. Yeah.
That's part of self-love, self-care. Have your free time, have your alone time, have time with your friends, then you make time with your, like, it's part of taking care of yourself.
And it can be kind of hard, but at the same time, you need that rotation. You need that in your life. When you have someone, you need some time to miss them too. We had looked up some signs of unhealthy and healthy relationships, but I'm just going to list off the things that make a healthy relationship. We found this on youth.gov. So to have mutual respect and trust is very important. Honesty and compromising. To have individuality, that is so important. So important to be your individual person aside from your relationship. Be yourself so that you're not changing who you are for anyone.
Yeah.
Have good communication, have anger control, fair fighting, problem solving, understanding, self-confidence, be a role model to each other, and having a healthy sexual relationship. That last part, I know guys are like, that's super important.
Yeah, that is super important.
Super important.
What was I going to say? When you were saying this, something came to my head. It's lost. Maybe it'll come back. But, yeah. I think those are good things to have healthy relationships with other people.
And it's crazy because a lot of us, like, lack this in relationships. Like, maybe this is a good list to go over with your significant other to approach it. And
that goes in with communication. Like, look, we need to focus. These are the things I feel like we're lacking in. We need to focus on, like, do a task of the week.
Right.
The task of the week that I feel like right now, I feel like we could be better in individuality. The task of the week, I'm going to take myself out on a date. You're going to take yourself out on a date, and we'll meet later.
I think, you have a good relationship if, like, you tell them something and you don't second guess it. You're so sure in your relationship, you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to everything. Of course, little things like, is that blue? Is that pink? That looks pink. Not like that, but you know what I'm saying?
Oh, God, those little Instagram posts.
Right. Is this gold or pink?
Yeah.
Is this white?
Who cares?
Right. Scroll up. But, yeah, I think those are pretty important. Just having communication is very important too.
Yeah. And I think a few things that are important to have a healthy relationship within yourself. Like, if you're trying to figure out how you can mend this relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
I think personally, we didn't even look this up, but my opinion about it is, like, take yourself out, go to the movies by yourself, learn to do things by yourself. I think that's a very important thing.
Remove yourself from everything and take that time for yourself.
And learn to just do it by yourself. If you want to go to a concert and no one wants to go to the concert with you, there's a very empowering thing with just still doing it, because that's what the hell you want to do. Like, screw everyone else. If no one else wants to go, I get it, whatever. I'm going to still go. I'm not going to miss out because no one else wants to do it. And that's very important to learn.
To experience stuff by yourself as an individual, you get that. I feel like that's what makes you have that individuality, Like, you learn how to become you because you're just by yourself, you know, like you learn to be by yourself.
You learn a lot about yourself. You learn how to respect yourself. You know,
it's a very powerful thing to be by yourself.
Yeah, even if it's you just lock yourself up in your room and you read a book, or you listen to some music, or you dance around naked.
Right. gotta be naked.
Do it naked. It's gonna be better. I promise you. But it's true. I mean, sometimes if I'm by myself, I'll just like pour myself a glass of wine, dance around, lay down for a bit.
And let me tell you, as a mom too, it's very hard to try to get that time by yourself. But I know it's very important. And sometimes I do get that like little couple hours throughout the day where I'm like, yes, I can breathe.
Yeah. I read somewhere too that when you have kids, like in a marriage or a relationship, it's very important to establish date night.
Yeah.
Like try to do date night.
Me and Jordan have definitely been trying to do that. It's hard because he works midnights and then we have to watch the baby, and, you know, but we try to make that time for ourselves because we know it's important. Yeah. Sometimes, man, I'll say this though, not everyone's relationship is perfect. I know mine isn't. I still have, to this day, we've been dating for so long, we still have communication skills sometimes that are messed up. It's all fucked up. And sometimes it's because of me, because I come off hostile sometimes. And like I come off with attitude when I talk sometimes. And I don't mean to, but I don't know if it's like my inner like bitch coming out or anything. I don't know exactly what it is, but I get in this mode and it's like I don't even see it. That's how bad it is. You know, like I'll speak and it won't be in the kindest way. Like, you know, what is that for? And I'll be like, what is that for? You know what I'm saying? Like the difference in that. And it's like people take it a certain way and they're like, excuse me? Like,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so that's something I've noticed and we've talked about it and I like try to work on it because I know it's an issue. But he's like, man, you really don't see what you do. And I'm like, I don't. And it's sad because it's become like a habit. Yeah. And I think that's what happens with a lot of relationships too. Things become habit. And unless you face it, you know, front and forward, you know, like you're not gonna fix it. You gotta acknowledge it, like you said. Yeah. Acknowledge that there's a problem, and then try to fix it. You know, in the best way that you know possible.
I wonder if we can get. It would be really cool to get somebody on the show that
relationship expert or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'll be better. A relationship. I was gonna say somebody that's been like in an abusive relationship to talk about it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or maybe we can do both. If there's two of you out there, we can do one episode with an expert.
Up, yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you've ever been in like an abusive relationship or anything, give us your insight on that if you feel comfortable, you know? Yeah. We're not gonna tell anyone anything. This is like, are we podcasting? I mean, are we adulting yet podcast? Plus, whatever you gotta say, it only stays with us two. Yeah. Us three.
Yeah. DM us, email us. We'll make it super anonymous if you want it
girls and guys, you know, give us your input on stuff because we like to hear stories and we like to use stories too.
I think especially with guys, a lot of guys don't speak out about.
No, but I know there's girls who are crazy as shit. Right. And they act crazy and they're the abusive ones. Right. Physically and emotionally, you know? Let us know, man. We'd like to hear it.
Please. I really think I'm a singer sometimes. But yeah. So, yeah.
I think that wraps it up for this episode.
I think that was a good one. I feel like I got a lot off my chest.
I think it was pretty good too. Yeah. We hope you guys got something out of it and thought it was good too. Because I feel like we're feeling ourselves right now. Right?
And we're out of time, so we have nothing else to give you. Sorry.
But we love you guys. If you guys have been with us for this far, we appreciate it. I mean, this is only our 7th episode. No. 8th.
We're a few deep in.
Oh, we're a few deep in. So
we're about to hit our 10th episode.
Is this our 10th episode?
No. We have tomorrow 6. But yeah, this is our 8th episode.
Hope you guys enjoy
been a journey.
Thanks for sticking out with us this far, you know.
Yeah. We'll do something big for our 10th episode.
You guys get hype. We have so much to the end of the year.
Live. We need to go live on Instagram.
One of these days we do.
We'll go live for our 10th episode.
Yeah, we should.
Oh.
should. That'd be good.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.